This is a video that will give you some instructions on how to get your shapefiles from a file on your desktop or a file on your flash drive into ArcMap. So in this example, I have downloaded data from Sanjis and saved it into a dedicated folder on my desktop, the GIS data demo folder. And inside this folder, you can see all of the files associated with the shapefile itself. This was downloaded from Sanjis data and then extracted into this folder on my desktop. Great, we have our data all set to go. It's definitely extracted. If you haven't extracted it, make sure you do that first. And then we can just head over to ArcMap. Now, in a lot of your labs, you will have data that's pre-packaged in an MXD file and it's all set up and you just launch it directly from the MXD file. When you're actually creating maps on your own, you're starting from scratch. This means that we have to add in our data to ArcMap. There's no pre-packaged map, there's no pre-packaged data, it's all you, it's all new. We'll start by clicking on the Add Data button. You also can click on the drop-down arrow, but if you click on Add Data, it will bring up the Add Data pop-up menu. Here is where you are selecting the files that you want to add in. I recommend starting any project by connecting to the folder you're going to be using a lot. So in our case, it's the data demo folder. But if you have maybe a final project folder or a lab folder, you can connect to that folder. This will allow your desktop folder to pop up in the drop-down menu and sort of be a quick launch directly to this folder to find your project data. Now we can see that the project data, the data demo folder is open and we can see all the contents of that file that's right on our desktop, our county boundary shapefile. If we had multiple shapefiles in that folder, you'd see them all listed here. But for our purposes, we're just interested in the county shapefile. To add data, you can then click on the shapefile, so it highlights here in the name section. If you have multiple shapefiles that you'd like to add, you can highlight all of them and add them all at one time, or you can add them each individually, whatever is easier for you. After you select the shapefile you're interested in, you can click on the Add, and you'll see your county boundary pop up in ArcMap. Now, if you added your shapefile in and you saw red exclamation points or your data did not appear, there's probably one of two things going on. One, you did not extract the data from the zip file where you downloaded it from. That's pretty common. It's pretty easy to get them confused. Make sure when you're connecting to the folder, you're connecting to not the zip folder, the actual folder on your desktop. Because if you do that, you will see red exclamation points. So if that happens, delete this folder or delete the shapefile from ArcMap, create a new connection to the folder, and then you can add it that way. The other concern would be that you are trying to add data from a folder that doesn't necessarily exist anymore. Maybe you downloaded your data onto a desktop and then put it onto a shapefile, put it onto your flash drive, and then you move to a different computer. You may have the wrong folder open, it may have the wrong drive listed. So you can see here, this links to my D drive, which I'm guessing is a flash drive. If I click on it, nothing's going to pop up because I don't have the flash drive in my computer right now, but sometimes that will happen. So if you are trying to figure out why you can't see any of your shapefiles or why they're getting inputted into ArcMap oddly, check to make sure that you're linking to the correct folder on your desktop or on your flash drive. Other than that, once you get all your data added, you can add additional layers and go straight from there to start manipulating your data. I do recommend, if you're saving this MXD file to work on later, that you set up the map document properties to store relative paths, that maybe you change where your default geodatabase is going to be. You can add it right to your data demo file or your final project file. think about doing those things ahead of time. This will make saving your MXG file and accessing your data later a lot easier.